What's up, everybody? Jared Sandler here, ready to bring you our high five for the day. And of course, every Wednesday, the high five starts out with our NFL top five. So we'll get right to it. Number one, the Kansas City Chiefs. I know they're not undefeated. I know there are teams who are undefeated, but I don't know. I just can't bring myself to believe there's a team that is better than the Chiefs. Again, if you're new to the way I go about this, it's not about who the best team is today. It's about, hey, if this team and this team played 10 times neutral site, or we'll say 9 times, so it can't be a 5-5 split, who's going to win more often? And there's not a single team who I think would beat the Chiefs more than they would beat them neutral site 9 times head to head. Chiefs are number one. The way they ran the ball against the Bills was really impressive. They're adding Le'Veon Bell, and they're not asking Le'Veon Bell to be the guy. You know, I know Le'Veon thinks he was misused with the Jets, and I think it's also quite clear that, well, you go to the Jets, your production probably is going to drop. I don't know how good Le'Veon is still. He's only 28. It's not like he's 32, 33. He still could be really good, and maybe he's still a dude. But they don't need him to be. They're not asking him to be. He's just joining the mix with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Darrell Williams, plus all the receivers. It's a pretty impressive group, and the way they ran the ball against the Bills was really impressive. Number two for me, the Tennessee Titans. They are undefeated, and maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little too heavily, but I tweeted this out on Monday. Ryan Tannehill's numbers over the last 16 games are better than Patrick Mahomes' numbers over the last 16 games. That's not me saying that give me Tannehill over Mahomes. That's me saying let's put some respect on his name and recognize just how good this guy has been. Completion percentage, touchdowns, rating, all that stuff better in favor of Tannehill over Mahomes over that stretch. Again, I don't know that he's the second best, third best quarterback. To me, though, right now, that sample size is large enough. He's playing like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He has been that good. And remember, he's not doing it with Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and all these weapons. He's doing it with A.J. Brown, who's really good. But is A.J. Brown a superstar? No, but he's really good. He's doing it with Corey Davis whenever Corey Davis is healthy or doesn't have the COVID. Jonnu Smith's, had a nice year. But it's not like he's throwing to, a set of amazing receivers, Adam Humphries as well. He's also got his co-Batman, Derrick Henry. Hey, league MVP, those two guys have to be in the top 5, right? I mean, Derrick Henry has been amazing, absolutely amazing. I didn't foresee this. Maybe you saw Derrick Henry in college and thought, yeah, this guy, he could be the best running back in the NFL. I bought into the whole idea that, hey, he's huge and it works in college, but he just doesn't have that second gear, not fast enough, not quick enough to make it in the NFL. Screw me. Man, I was wrong on that. This guy has been outstanding. Those two have been really good. To me, the Titans are number 2. Number 3, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They appear to be pretty well balanced. Their defense is something. They gave Baker Mayfield fits. They've given other offenses fits. It seems like offensively, Big Ben is able to throw the ball just enough. Still not sure if he can just let it fly and air it out the way he used to, but he hasn't really needed to. Mike Tomlin's staff has done a great job. Obviously James Conner has been really good. That helps, getting him back and healthy. But they've had a group of receivers who have made things happen. Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, when healthy. Chase Claypool obviously has emerged and become somewhat of a story. And James Washington, maybe James Washington isn't the star that they hoped he would become when they drafted him a few years ago, but he's turned out to be a solid receiver. And this looks like some of those good Steelers teams from a few years back. They had like 17 receivers who you felt like could make a play on you. So to me, the Steelers are number 3. That defense is a big part of it. And they just appear to be a pretty well-balanced team. Number 4 for me, the Baltimore Ravens. And man, the Ravens, there's something missing, and I can't quite put my finger on it. They scored 30 points against the Eagles, but The defense created a bit of that because I think they only had one sustained drive of over 70 yards. All their other points came short fields. There's something off with the offense. I don't quite know what it is. I know Lamar's been banged up and hasn't been running as well, but he had over 70 rushing yards on Sunday. The Ravens, to me, listen, next week they could be right back up in that 2 spot. If they maybe alleviate some of these concerns, but their offense is good. I don't know that their offense right now is great. That's why they're number 4. Number 5, Seattle. Listen, they're letting Russ cook, right? That's the phrase du jour, but it's working. And I just have a tough time believing that if you put the game in Russ's hands, that, he's going to let you down more often than, he's going to make you look like a genius. He's made coaches look like a genius when he's been given the chance to take control of the game. And they're doing that. And maybe it's a product of, some off-season getting slapped around and figuring it out. Or maybe it's, hey, we have 17 running backs, but none of them are that great. They've got 2 really good receivers in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, good complementary pass catchers as well. Right now they're 5. They're a little ahead of the Packers, who they put up a goose egg against the Bucs. They just looked awful. The Bucs and the Packers, to me, and the Bills are right there. I'm not too scared. Like I said with the Chiefs last week, when the Chiefs lost finally, I'm not going to let one loss to the Packers totally change my opinion of them. They went on the road and they got their asses kicked. It happens in the NFL. Curious to see how they bounce back against the Texans. But my top 5, the Chiefs, the Titans, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Seahawks. All right, moving on. Elsewhere, the Miami Dolphins have named Tua Tagovailoa their starting quarterback. Now, they're doing it as a lot of people say. It's odd timing because Ryan Fitzpatrick has been playing really, really well. But the Dolphins aren't trying to win a Super Bowl this year. And they'd like to make the playoffs, sure. But this is about Tua. They drafted him first round. They invested a high pick on him. It's about him. And a lot of times you hear people say, listen, a bye week is a great time to make a quarterback change. Well, it's a bye week. And obviously Brian Flores feels like he's ready. What I like about it, without being inside those walls, is it seems like Brian Flores and his staff had a plan from day one, and they're sticking to it. They're not going to force him in because someone's been struggling. I guess would it hurt for him to wait a few more weeks, for Ryan Fitzpatrick not to appear to be white hot? I guess it wouldn't. But again, this is Tua-centric. It's not about Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick knows that and knew that. Well, when you draft a quarterback as highly regarded as Tua, as highly as they selected him, your life as the team starting quarterback has shrunk. It's not going to be as long. I'm curious to see Tua. I am someone who I have not crowned this guy, the second coming like others have. When they face good defenses, he did seem to struggle a bit. I worry about the health stuff. I worry, about it's like I worry a little bit about a few different things: the health, and I guess this is tied to the health. Can he change the way he plays from a running standpoint? Because he's gotten too beat up when he's exposed himself. He's got to take a page out of Kyler Murray's book, who's just so good at running all over the place, but barely getting hit. It's weird. There just aren't many lefty quarterbacks. I don't know that he's not going to be good because there aren't any. It's just a funny thing to throw out there. There hasn't been, I don't think, a lefty to start a game since Kellen Moore, unless something's changed that I've totally forgotten about. But I'm excited to see Tua, and I like the way the Dolphins have gone about it. It seems like it just based on the reaction to them naming Tua the starter, the communication there has been outstanding, that everyone's been on the same page. They've known what's going on. It's Tua time in Miami. All right. Yesterday, Jane Slater tweeted that, some players without attaching their name to it, been really frustrated with the Cowboys coaching staff. So they it feels like they don't know how to coach, or these players have said that they're unprepared, all that stuff. Let me tell you something. The Cowboys are horrible. I know they're in first place right now in the NFC East. Let me also tell you this. They're favored to win the NFC East. If you like to throw down some money, Go put some money on the Eagles. The Eagles are the best team of the NFC East. It's not the Cowboys. Whether it's just on-field tangible stuff or intangible crap like this team appears to be soft. And it's unfortunate because with Dak, maybe it's a different story. Not that it changes the whole disposition of the team, but they are the best team of the NFC East with Dak. Tough to believe that they'll be the best team in the NFC East with Andy Dalton, and that defense is just absolutely lost. When you're as bad as the Cowboys have been, the blame pie gets sliced up, not just in one. You don't just give the pie as one big serving. They're pieces, right? And the coaches definitely have some culpability. There's no doubt about it. You can't watch this team and say, oh, yeah, no, the coaching's been great. It's all on the players, only the players. But that biggest piece of blame pie, that's on the players. And it's disappointing that they would undercut a coaching staff 6 weeks into their tenure after a challenging, tumultuous offseason with COVID and everything going on. To me, that's disappointing. You're going to feel how you're going to feel. If you don't like the coaching staff, that's fine. But let me tell you something. When you anonymously share your thoughts, even though your name might not be attached to it, and you're not necessarily going to be the guy in trouble, that stuff's getting out there. And that whatever anger or venom you have towards the coaching staff, this ain't helping it. It's undercutting the coaching staff. And it just, to me, it is a quick trigger of pointing fingers. You're 6 weeks into this coaching staff's tenure. Now, if it is just that horrible, well, then the Jones family needs to take a deep look into what's going on. Because there aren't many instances of 6 weeks into a tenure, players feeling so strongly about this that they're unified in that thought. To me, I think you've got players who need to do a better job of looking in the mirror. All right, let's go to the baseball side. Yesterday, Clayton Kershaw, 19 swings and misses out of 38 swings against Tampa. Arguably his best stuff we've seen from him in a long time. He was really, really good. Got out of a little trouble in the first inning. Gave up the home run to Kiermaier. That's a couple of hits over 6 innings. I thought Dave Roberts did the right thing by pulling him after 6. There had been some lengthy innings as well because when the Dodgers had been hitting, because they did such a great job of working the count and just wearing down Tyler Glasnow and Rays pitchers. This was great. I'm so pumped for Kershaw. I hope he puts together another great start. And if the Dodgers win the World Series, hopefully the narrative can change. And who knows, maybe Kershaw will start the game in which they win the World Series. But as I mentioned, leading up to the World Series, that was my number one player storyline was Clayton Kershaw's. I don't know that it's his last chance in the playoffs, but you just don't know. He's 32 years old, over 2,300 innings, a lot of long seasons because of the Dodgers team success. How much longer is he going to be able to pitch at this level to where we look at him and say, yeah, he's the leader of this staff? I think I think he just wants to win a World Series. I don't think he cares. But I think as far as the way his narrative is shaped, it would be helpful if his team won a World Series with him as the leader of the staff to make up for some of the previous struggles in the postseason. He was outstanding yesterday. And don't get anything twisted. You're going to hear, you probably have heard a lot of this, Kershaw struggled in the postseason. Listen, it's the reality. He's also going to end up having the most strikeouts in Major League history in the postseason over a career. That's in part because of the Dodgers team success. This guy's, a top 5 pitcher of all time. You can make arguments. He's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you want to say he's outside of the top 5. You're going to have a tough time convincing me of that. He's definitely not outside the top 10. This is one of the all-time greats. And the postseason hasn't been his best friend, but it seems like hopefully he can change that. He's got a sub-3 ERA this postseason. He's having the success that I think has escaped him in the past. Now, he's an all-time great, and I think his teammate Mookie Betts is as well. Cody Bellinger's an outstanding player, and he has the potential over stretches to be, the best player in the world, or the best non-Mike Trout player. Mookie Betts' consistency makes him so special. He plays at a supremely high level consistently. Cody Bellinger, ups and downs. It's not like Mookie was lost in Boston. I mean, the guy won an MVP in a World Series in Boston, but it does seem like he is starting to get another level of credit, another layer of recognition. This guy is the best non-Mike Trout player in the world. And I don't know that we'll ever say that he's better than Mike Trout, but he's way closer in conversation than I thought we would get during Mike Trout's career to someone who is his peer. To me, Mike Trout is on another level. Now, there are years in which there's this player and this player who are better than Mike Trout. The numbers are better. But a part of Mike Trout's greatness is the consistency. And that's one thing, in fairness to Mookie Betts, before you, anoint him better than Mike Trout, let's not forget Mookie Betts, MVP in 2018. How did he respond in 2019? He had an OPS nearly 200 points below that. His slugging percentage over 100 points below, the on-base percentage 40, the batting average 50. It's not that he was a bad player. He had a 915 OPS. But Mike Trout's consistency, his greatness year to year, is what makes him so remarkably special. This is a guy who's got a career OPS of 1,000. A career OPS of 1,000. He has not had an OPS below 990 since 2014. And you take that year away, since 2013, he's only had one OPS below 985. That is what makes Mike Trout remarkable. Mookie Betts can get there, but that's what he's up against. Mookie's had 3 years in his career with an OPS above 900. Just 3. Mike Trout has not had 3 years without an OPS above 900. So Mookie's outstanding. He's the number 2, but he's not yet the number 1. All right, there you go. That's our high five for Wednesday. Hey, I'd really appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel and maybe share this link with your friends. It really, really does go a long way in helping to support this project. Would really appreciate it. Until next time, though, have a great day. Stay safe, be healthy, and we'll talk to you later.